I'm Mort Cooper, your host on Change Your Voice, Change Your Life. In studio with me is a young man. He's very erudite, and he's very civil, and he has trouble understanding society and why doctors are Botoxing people with a strangled voice. He's well-intentioned, he's compassionate, and he's humane. And sometimes I feel sorry for him. He's in a world that doesn't pay attention to what can be done, such as cures of hopeless voice problems. We have a young lady here with us. Your name is?
Claudia Sismondi.
Good. The subtitle of the program is called The Lady Killers. Do you know why I subtitled the program The Lady Killers? There was a British film called The Lady Killers. How this lady ruins a whole sophisticated gang of bank robbers and blows them out. It's funny. You talk a certain way. It's called a strangled voice. Can you count 1 to 5?
Yeah, sometimes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, now you're handling the voice and you feel comfortable, but you're doing it because you have a certain modus operandi. How do you do that?
You mean when I'm under pressure, I can get my voice back?
Yes.
In normal situations where I'm more comfortable, like with my family, I can't speak.
Yeah, that's true. That's a truism. People that you know, you basically may not be able to talk with. Is that true?
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk with strangers more than you can with a family?
Sometimes I can, and I'm doing it right now because I'm under lights and cameras. So this is an example.
What happens when you're on the phone?
Usually I can't speak.
If you put your hand to your ear and you mimicked talking on the phone, what would happen?
Right now I can't predict it.
Right. They say you have spasmodic dysphonia.
Mm-hmm.
You do have it.
Yeah, I do.
Who is they? Who's diagnosed her?
Dr. Curtis is always interested in they because
Well, you
he's
keep
learned
saying
to
these
question
generalities.
they.
What's the name of your doctor?
I've had a number of diagnoses from speech therapists, from a neurologist, and ENT.
So when did you first hear this title, spasmodic dysphonia, applied to you?
Applied to me? I think I ran across it on the internet, actually.
So your doctor never told you you had spasmodic dysphonia?
They have told me, but in the beginning we really weren't
Okay.
sure.
If you will,
Yeah, just look
because
at
you may
Mort.
be talking off
Okay.
mic, so if you look at me. Who is the doctor that gave you the 4 Botox shots or 3 Botox shots?
I received those from Dr. Corey.
Mark Corey, U.S., UC San Francisco. Okay, that's where Izdebski is. He's in with them.
Well, that's where Dr. Dito used to practice.
He is there.
Dr. Dito.
Yes. Corey replaced Dito in that.
Well, he's a very fine surgeon.
They're all fine surgeons.
This is a very respected individual.
They're all
so
fine. They're all respected.
He must have told you that you have a neurological condition. They ever say that to you?
Well, you could look at the records. When I saw him for my first exam, he was able to get me to go into the strangled voice. I did a battery of tests, and he agreed that I did have a spasmodic dysphonia.
Yeah, it's on the record. I have the record.
So there's nothing to dispute the diagnosis then, that she had spasmodic dysphonia.
No, Izdebski has sent me the printout.
And Curry is a very respected physician.
They're all respected.
University of California, San Francisco is a top-of-the-line medical
No, they're all
institution.
top of the line. They're all
So
creme de la
why is
creme.
it that your top-of-the-line diagnoses, and I've talked to one of the leading physicians at the University of Michigan named Dr. Norman Hokegian, and many of these physicians, when I bring to the attention that Dr. Cooper has had his cases diagnosed at major medical centers, they
including
say,
his.
well,
with
this
Kim
is with one of
Engstrom.
this is with Kim Engstrom. I was referring to her,
Yeah.
and I said to him, "Well, have you changed your diagnosis about Kim Engstrom since Dr. Cooper has cured her of spasmodic dysphonia?" I said, "Have you changed your diagnosis?" He said, "No." But there are many instances where these medical colleagues who who respond to patients that you've cured of spasmodic dysphonia, that say that the patients never had spasmodic dysphonia.
That's fine. You can say that the world is in peace, regardless of wars all over the world. Everybody's entitled to their position. Hokegian diagnosed Kim Engstrom with abductor and adductor. He gave her 2 Botox shots, and she had bowed vocal cords. The Botox shots were ineffective. The issue that comes down to is the
You're not giving the whole story. She reported back to Dr. to Dr. Hokikian with a completely clear and normal voice. And Dr. Hokikian asked her if she wanted another Botox
No,
shot
he didn't ask her. He wanted to give her a Botox.
for an insurance policy.
No, he wanted to deal with the neurological attributes.
But this was the point, that she still believed that she had a neurological
Well,
condition.
they believe that the condition is neurological. If you change your voice, if you can do that, as you're doing, you basically, fundamentally, overwhelmingly disprove the neurological theory. Because you cannot change cerebral palsy, you cannot change amyotrophic lateral sclerosis, that's Lou Gehrig's disease. You cannot change Alzheimer's. You
Well, how
cannot
can you change a
multiple
dystonia?
sclerosis. Those are neurological
They've referred
problems.
to this condition as a dystonia.
They can refer to it whatever they want.
Dystonia is
but
is a stubborn neurological
it's
condition.
incurable.
Are you a neurologist?
We've gone through this one.
No, I know, but I mean, are you able to treat neurological conditions?
It is not a dystonia. It's not a neurological
But the
problem.
medics
It's not
say
a-
that it is. Her doctor,
question-
who treated her with
the
Botox,
doctor-
believed
the doctors
that she
have
had a
a
neurological
paradigm.
condition,
Dr. Curtis. John.
right?
John. I love you. Where do you feel it? Where's your laugh?
Right there.
By the way, her voice, your voice has been clear as a bell on this show so far. It has not been strangled on this program as of yet. Now, most people listening to her right now on this show are going to say that she doesn't really have spasmodic dysphonia, even though she's diagnosed by Dr. Curry and she was treated with Botox. Let's hope that we can get her to strangle a little bit as time goes on here.
Thanks.
Well, John is very civil.
We want to prove to people at least this is a real story. No, your voice has been entirely clear.
Well, I haven't talked at all today, really. I've just sat and breathed and hummed. So I
You're
rested.
breathing and humming. When you first came in, could you do that? Can you breathe? What are you doing with your breathing?
I don't want to think about it.
Okay, but I changed the breathing.
Yeah.
What about your hum? Did I have you hum? Do you feel the hum up in the face? Do you feel a buzz, a resonance? But when you're on the phone, what happens?
I'm tight.
You drop down.
Yeah.
All spasmodic dysphonia is in the lower throat. I can help John to get that condition if you listen to me. He's a very civil person. John, I just want you to talk without air and keep doing that. Hold your breath. And then your wife won't have any problems with you because you won't be heard.
Did you realize that I had a great conversation with the past president of the National Spasmodic Dysphonia Association? This is the group, by the way, that you're supposed to go to for answers about spasmodic dysphonia. They're a nonprofit organization, and that is based out of Chicago, I believe. And the woman that I was talking to on the phone, her name is Dot Sowerby, and she sounded like this. I said, Dot, do you know that there's treatments for spasmodic dysphonia? There's a gentleman in Brentwood named Dr. Morton Cooper. He's willing to give you free treatment. And that was and she said, told me, instructed me, I could barely hear or understand anything she was saying, to call Dr. McAllister, who was then the executive director of the National Spasmodic Dysphonia Association. So I called Dr. McAllister up and I asked him if his organization recommended treatments, because I understand that Dot Sowerby, and this is just a question, but I had heard, no confirmation, that she had received numerous Botox shots for her own spasmodic dysphonia. And this is the condition her voice was left into. It was unintelligible. So Dr. McAllister told me, we don't recommend any treatment for anybody. We're not physicians. Then the day after, I read an article in the USA Today. I'm talking about the exact day after I had talked with him, and he said that they, at the National Spasmodic Dysphonia Association, do not advocate any form of treatment for spasmodic dysphonia. They are not physicians. He was quoted as saying that Botox, and this is in USA Today, is a godsend and is the cat's meow with respect to treatment for spasmodic dysphonia.
The man's entitled to his view. Why are you so critical of people? They are funded by Allergan, the maker of Botox, that's the NSDA, and you don't have any sympathy or empathy about people who are trying to fulfill their position and help represent either the Allergan company or the medical position and the academic position, all of them. Guarantee there are no cures of the condition that you have. People are hearing you now and they're wondering why they don't hear the strangled voice. Can you imitate the voice you came in with?
Yeah, kind of like that.
Now give me the real voice.
I can't. I can't control my voice, and this is happening to me right now. And this
Why
is
is it-
natural.
Why can you control your voice now? How are you doing it?
I must be breathing correctly and speaking in my mask
Yes.
area.
You are. Do you consider this what is called a performance voice?
Yeah, it's my.
You're
It's just,
not
it
alone.
surprises me. It's here, and I'm thankful for it.
Yes. I have recordings of you when you first came in.
Do you have the recording master with you?
No, I did it last week. And another show. How bad were you then?
I could barely talk. Last night I could barely talk. I went out to dinner with the other client patient, and I
Tony.
couldn't talk.
So it comes and goes.
Mm-hmm.
But you use a presentation called the performance voice, which I've seen before. Do you like your performance voice?
Yes, I do. I love my voice.
Can you put yourself in that mode?
No, not on demand. No.
But you're doing it under floodlights.
Mm-hmm.
So people hearing you cannot believe that you have a very serious problem.
And that happened to me when I went to an ENT in my local community. What's your problem? Oh, I can't talk. I have a strangled voice. And he wouldn't even give me the Botox because he'd never seen this happen, and it confused him.
Did Dr. Curry hear your spasmodic dysphonia?
Yes, yes. And I got shots from him.
3. What was the outcome of 3?
Well, the first one I believe worked. I was supposed to keep a journal, and he would have record of that. But then again, I was doubting myself. Was it this theatrical voice or the shots? I wasn't really sure. But then the last shots that I had didn't take at all.
So that's when you gave it up?
Yes.
Okay. The interval of Botox shots, what was it?
Pardon me, the
What
unit?
was the end of time element? You had 1 Botox shot, 2 Botox shots, 3
They
Botox.
were about 4 months apart.
Did you have a long period of time after you had the Botox shot before you got a normal voice, a near normal voice? Or was
It
it?
wasn't too long. I had a complete loss of voice where I had to whisper, and I had to be real careful when I drank fluids because I would choke. In fact, I did choke on some medication because I wasn't paying attention out of
Well,
habit.
that, by the way, is a direct consequence of the paralysis that's due to the Botox shot. Now, if you listen to the video that the National Spasmodic Dysphonia Association puts out, it's very persuasive because they say that with the fiber optic technology, they can pinpoint the exact location, and there is a scientific method of determining the dosage of these shots, and there's no leakage in surrounding tissues. So the fact that you're having trouble swallowing shows that it's affected her esophageal muscles, which means there's infiltration of Botox into surrounding tissue. So the idea that it's so localized that this is a purified protein, doesn't harm the person at all, is a very interesting idea.
They have a lot of interesting ideas. The problem is nobody knows the long-term downside effects on the body with Botox for the vocal cords. Nobody. And years ago there was prefrontal lobotomies. It was greatly encouraged by the medical community. It ended up 35 years after it was honored for the Nobel Prize with 50,000 vegetables, people who can't function, and it was dishonored. It wound up as a disgrace. Will that happen to Botox or the vocal cords? Now, you gave up after 3 Botox shots?
3 or 4, yeah. And I really didn't want to continue them. I would rather use a more natural voice.
Do you think this is more natural, direct voice rehabilitation?
Oh, yeah.
What is it telling you to do? What are the simple variables, the mechanical variables?
To remember to breathe in and out.
Yes.
Out especially.
What do you do that you're not doing that? You hold your breaths?
Yeah, I don't know why.
But you do.
She's
Can
not
I-
holding
can I
air
can
in
I
her
give it-
lungs, though. She's blowing out her air in her lungs.
Yeah, but I want to give her an explanation as to why she's concerned. You have a bad habit. You fear certain sounds that your voice won't come out. Is that correct? What are those sounds that you fear?
I think I have problem with the hard C's. I'm not doing it right now, but
The hard C's
Like
are a K.
like Claudio,
Yeah, that's a K.
a hard vowel sound,
Right. Those are
consonant
called
sound.
plosives. PD, KD, and so forth. Those are called plosives. But you're not alone. Did you know that SD cases, spasmodic dysphonia cases, fear that?
Probably, yeah.
Did you have any speech therapy? What do they tell you to do?
Relax, work on my breathing. I've done a lot of strange exercises. I even had one where I went,
That's the glottal fry.
yeah.
That's last week before you showed up, we had the young man, Scott, who was told to, I asked him why he was told to do that. He didn't know. Did it help? No, he said. Did it help you?
No.
Did they ever tell you to yawn and to sigh?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the yawn sigh game.
Did they ever
They
put
never
a golf
report
ball
a
in your
single
mouth
cure.
and tell you to suck on a golf ball or to eat peaches?
No, but someone told me to put rocks in my mouth.
Well, that's it. It's the golf ball. Your laugh is great.
Do you find that these techniques?
I like your voice when you talk on your lap because
when
your laugh is your voice.
you've been at a number of conferences and taken some people with very hopeless sounding voices in a matter of seconds and brought their voices into normal range. I said they've referred to you as the fastest gun in the West.
Right, that's in 1976 with a young lady known as Donna, who was a resident expert at the Houston Medical Center. Now, they brought me in, and the fellow introducing me at this meeting, Russ Malone, had a raspy voice, and he was putting me down, saying that Donna had worked with the minister for 9 months, and she couldn't get a clear voice. It was markedly raspy. He was sitting about 30 feet away. I do have good ears, and I heard him talking like that and so forth. And
That's Dr. Malone you're talking about.
No, the lady.
Okay.
The minister was talking like this, and Donna was alongside of him, if I recall correctly, and Malone had a brief introduction, calling me with a sarcastic tone, the fast gun from the West, that I can change your voice in seconds. So the minister stood up. I could hear what he was doing, and he would say, "I'm talking like that." So my technique is I invented that. I discovered that in 1962 at UCLA Medical Center on the staff there. I knew what he was doing already. So I said very quickly, "I know what he's doing wrong," and the audience gasped. And then I asked him to hum the first bar of Happy Birthday, which the minister wanted to sing. I said, "No, just hum it." And his voice was right up there. And I said, "Now count to 10 on that hum." And he went 1, 2, 3, and his voice was as clear as could be, and the audience gasped. And that took 10 seconds. Now, the unfortunate problem is I made enemies, apparently, because he was breathing incorrectly, reversed. And I asked who taught him that. And he said, his speech guru. So when that was all over, that took all of about 20 seconds, and I was off the podium. One of the ladies in the audience said, "You embarrassed Donna." Now, I love your laugh, but she worked with him for 9 months. Why are we taking so long to find the optimal pitch? How long does it take me to figure out where your voice is?
It didn't take very long. I think the first day I was there.
Right. And on the phone, I have a voice, right? You use a TDY, and you use an electric
Larynx.
Tell us what it's about.
Ooh. Well, the electronic larynx I got from one of my therapists to assist me in talking on the telephone. As a resident of California, we're entitled to devices if we have a speech disorder
What
or
does it
you're
sound
deaf.
like?
Sounds like Darth Vader.
Yes.
It's pretty
They're very
gnarly.
artificial sounding.
Yes,
aren't they?
it's robotic. It is frightening. I taught esophageal voice. That's frightening. I show people who have been laryngectomized how to talk normally with belched air. You can do that and sound good. The second thing you use is the TDY. What is that?
That is a device. It's like a typewriter, but it's hooked up to telephone lines, and I type in my message, and then it goes to an operator. She reads the message, and then
Is that your SD coming in?
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. Maybe.
Can I suggest?
Yeah.
What do you suggest? I'm suggesting that when you're on process, when you're thinking about what you're going to do, and you're really focused on it, you can talk up in the face. And when you get into content, as I'm getting you to do, you're slipping.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Okay.
This is your performance voice, and it sounds great. People will say, why are you here talking with your...
My family won't say that. They know why I'm here, because they can't understand me normally.
What happens to your voice? Does it go up or down?
I think down. Yeah.
Goes down? Well, I heard you on the phone.
But it'll go down, but I have talked without my breath. You talk about the inhale. I have been to the point where I can't get it out. And then I go, oh, like that. And I can
That's
talk
right.
on the inhale.
You're talking on inhalation, donkey breathing, reverse breathing.
Right, donkey breathing.
So the breathing is important, right? Is that correct?
Yeah, you have to breathe.
Yeah, but you don't.
I can't get it out sometimes. It's just stuck.
Yeah, believe it or not, if you don't talk on air, Dr. Curtis, you cannot talk. Believe it or not, Ripley, and people with your condition do not talk on air. They hold their breaths, they reverse their breathing, they do everything under the sun that's not normal, and they're trying to talk. So I'm telling you something that the medical people are ignoring, and this is what they're saying. Your breathing problem is due to a dystonia, due to a neurological problem, and there's no point of working on it. That's Izdebski at UC San Francisco. I've spoken with him about it. So they're writing you off, and they see no future for you able to talk. You are talking so normally and naturally for the most part, right? 95, 99%. People listening to you would never ever say you have spasmodic dysphonia.
No, they shouldn't.
Because you're concentrating.
Yeah, but you can recognize it just now. Did
Yes.
you hear that little?
Yeah. But it gets much worse.
Oh, yes.
Can you imitate the much worse spasmodic dysphonia?
I don't want to. No, I can't right now.
Try it, just for about 2 or 3 seconds.
What time is it? Yeah.
So it goes into that. Dr. Curtis, she can control the voice. The medical community is saying she can't do what she just did. So my take on this is that you're doing no harm by using your natural voice, and ear, nose, and throat doctors have taken a note, do no harm in natural healing. That's what I'm into. And the medical community as a whole is being led down the wrong road, saying that you are a diseased person. They don't know where it is, the basal ganglia, genetic dysphonia. Do you follow? And taking control away from you. But I'm giving you the control back, and I'm giving you a hope for a possible cure, but you can't hold it all the time, right? Because it varies, as you say, when you're in the restaurant last night, no voice. But you know there is a voice, don't you?
Well, if this were disabled through faulty neurology, would you say that she could turn the voice on and off like this?
No, she couldn't do it. So what do you make of the medical community holding on to a paradigm?
This is a very powerful paradigm. Back in 1962, for 90 years, since this guy Traub first described this as nervous hoarseness in 1871, 90 years elapsed, and they suggested this were psychiatric problems.
Yeah. They never had
Early
one single cure.
1960s.
They haven't had one single cure, no matter how they've found the paradigm.
Do you know in the early 60s they changed the paradigm to one of faulty neurology? And that study that they based it on by Rowe, Brumlick, and Moore was only a study that involved 10 patients.
And it was suggestive. It never said that you had neurological. But the medical
But do you know how
community
few
picked up
10 patients are to draw any kind of
position.
inferences from research?
Is she asking me or you?
I'm just asking. Do you know that any other research in any branch of medicine in which any kind of a change of theory or paradigm, according to Kuhn, would take place simply because somebody has a study that suggests something with 10,
Don't you think they're a little
an N of 10?
Don't you think that's a little thin, Doctor? Thin. In other words, but in the study, they did not say it's neurological. The hypothesis was suggestive, possibly, it was neurological in 4, I believe, of 10 cases. Now, you're disproving their very simple paradigm, which they've never proven conclusively. They can't find the site of neurological dysfunction. They can't find it in the basal ganglia, which is the leading cause. They can't find it in genetics. They can't find it. They also say today acid reflux. Are you on acid reflux of any kind? Were you told to take acid reflux drugs?
Yes, but before my voice was strangled.
Before
As bad as it has gotten
Right.
early on.
Now you're going down the lower throat, right? Mm-hmm. Can you change it?
Yeah, I'll try.
Yes. All
Now,
right.
which
we have
way does she need to
40
go?
seconds left, yeah.
Which way do you think she needs? She says that she needs to go down with her voice.
Yes, she does. I tell her.
Why does your field, who listens to these voices, not know whether they should go up or down? I mean, that's saying that the field is upside down.
It is.
They don't know whether to go up or
It
down.
is. What are you laughing about that?
Well,
Claudia?
he tells me to go down when I get real high
That's
pitch.
right.
I get overly. I go way up.
Time to go. Way up is not the place to go. It's a pleasure. Your name is?
Claudius Esmondi.
You can do it. Your name, sir?
It's John Curtis.
I'm Mort Cooper, your host. Thank you very much. The Lady Killers. Bye-bye.